all the wildlife carers here today. Thank you very much. People that clean up after the land clearing and the destruction of the environment. Luke Foley said that this is actually very simple, and I'd like to tell the story in 3 numbers. So one is 1,000 species that are endangered in New South Wales. Second number, 9%. That is the amount of vegetation in New South Wales that remains in its native condition. And the second number is 8 million hectares, because that is what the WWF report suggests is at risk of being cleared under this legislation. Now, Mike Baird said that that was an exaggeration and that number was incorrect, but he hasn't released any modelling of what the impact of this legislation would be. So either he hasn't done it, which is amazing, or he's ashamed to release those numbers. 8 million hectares is an awful lot of land, and within those 8 million hectares there will be an awful lot of animals. Another report by the WWF from 2014 reveals that on average the Native Vegetation Act had saved 116,000 animals per year. 116,000 animals per year. I think that's worth fighting for. And the vegetation. Our organisation, I represent Sydney Wildlife, which is one of the many wildlife groups in New South Wales. About 5,000 carers in New South Wales. We represent Sydney Wildlife as about 500 carers. Every year we respond to about 12,000 calls. We don't get any money for that, we don't pay for it, it's resourced by ourselves, totally volunteer. Now, when this kind of legislation was introduced in Queensland, the number of animals coming into care doubled, more than doubled. How are we going to cope with a doubling of animals coming into care without any support for us, without any consultation? 85% of the submissions that came in about this act were opposed. 85%. Only 150 farmers actually wrote in to support this. There is not a clamour from farmers to support these changes. There is a clamour amongst a very small number of farmers in the northwest of the state, and those few farmers in the northwest of the state are driving policy for all of us, for you, for me, in Sydney, in Wilcannia, in Broken Hill, all in the south coast, in the north coast. Our policy is being driven by a small number of nationals in the northwest of the state, and Mike Baird is vulnerable on this issue. We know that he cares about animal welfare because at some point in his life he understood that the greyhound ban should be put in place. He fell down on this under pressure from the Nationals, and once again he's going to fall down under pressure from the Nationals. We need to tell him he needs to listen to us. He needs to listen to the 85% of people in this state who do not want these changes and who want us to stand up for nature. So I say to you, stand up for nature. Not just you, but you have to tell your friends, tell your family, tell your friends' family, tell everyone that you know that they also need to stand up for nature, because once it is destroyed, we will not get it back. So stand up for what you believe in and tell Mark Baird not to pass this regressive legislation. Thank you very much.